With these important results sort of summarized here, we're now going to get into the details. So going further than what the textbook does to give you some intuition for how this works. So I want to explain to you the Solovay-Kitaev theorem, and we're going to construct the algorithm for doing this. So we'll also call it the Solovay-Kitaev algorithm. At the heart of what's going on here is the following very simple thing. So imagine we have approximations to two gates that we'll call A and B. So A will be approximated by A hat to what we'll call delta A accuracy. And we'll have another operation B, which will be similarly approximated by B hat to delta B accuracy. So we're going to have A and B be unitary. We're going to have further A hat and B hat be unitary. And then this error term, delta A, will be the same in norm as delta B, which we'll just call both capital delta. And this will be some error that's less than or equal to, actually, we want it to be less than 1. Okay? So we're imagining we have these approximations, A hat and B hat, to gates A and B. And we're going to think about using them to approximate the product, A times B. So we want to approximate the product A times B. And why do we care about this? Well, this is natural. A quantum circuit is a product of unitaries. Okay? So we're just boiling it down to the basic case. The simplest case is I have a product of two unitaries in a circuit. I want to see what I can do with these delta approximations, these approximations to order error delta, and see if we can do any better of that by sort of combining these in some special ways. The other thing we're going to assume, so this product is just a quantum circuit, so we can call this the product of the circuit. The other thing we're going to assume and justify later on is that these A hat and B hat approximations are close to the identity operation. Okay? That might seem strange for now, but when we see how this all works together, we'll see why that is the case. So we're also going to assume that A hat is lowercase delta a close to the identity matrix, and the same thing for B hat. B hat will be I plus delta B, where again, these delta A and delta B's are to order delta, and we're going to set this to be equal to delta as well. At least for the discussion, when you go through and do this, actually implement it, you'll find it doesn't go by the square, it actually goes by to the power 3/2. So I'll mention this at the end. But our sort of goal for now is to try to get from this linear in delta approximation to something that's like delta squared. So we want to see some quadratic convergence out of this. And let's just try to calculate this product and see what we get with the approximation that we have right now. And then we'll introduce the key step, which is the to how to make this error be less. So let's consider the difference AB minus A hat B hat, right? Conceptually, what are we doing here? I care about the quantum circuit A times B, product of unitaries, and I have approximations A hat and B hat to both of them. So the natural thing to ask is, how close is the product of approximations? And we can just work out what this is. So A is A plus delta A hat plus delta A rather. And then B is B hat plus delta B. And we have minus A hat times B hat. So when you expand this, you'll get the four terms. A hat and B hat will cancel each other out. So A hat, B hat plus A hat times delta B plus delta A times B hat plus delta A, delta B. And then so when you look at this, we do see a delta squared term, okay? But we still have the delta terms hanging around, so this will still be linear. So let's just summarize. So we'll have A hat delta B plus delta A times B hat plus delta A delta B. So if we considered the size of this difference, imagine for the moment that it was something like delta A times delta B. That would be really nice because then we could just iterate this. And, so let's say if this was to order delta squared, then, we could iterate this. So we could do it again. And we would have delta squared going to delta to the power 4, 2 squared, and then delta to the 2 cubed, and so on and so forth. So that would be really nice if that were true. That's what we're going to try to get to. We're going to have to think about some way to get rid of or do something about these terms which are to first order in delta so that we have the quadratic convergence that we would like to have. The way to do this is, the key step is to consider the difference in group commutators instead of just the difference of the product A, B minus A hat, B hat. So what do I mean by that? This means I want to consider the commutator A, B, and this is going to be the group commutator. So a little bit of a different commutator than what we've seen before. But A commutator B minus A hat commutator B hat. Okay? Let me define what this is for you. The commutator, group commutator, so A, B, is defined as A, B, A inverse, B inverse. Okay? So this is another type of commutator. If it's the case, we're again considering everything to be unitary. So if it's the case that AB equals BA, so A commutes with B, then what would this evaluate to? Who could tell me? It's the case that AB is equal to BA, then I can reverse this order, and I'll have A times A dagger, which is identity. And then I'll have B times B dagger, which is identity. Okay? So in the case that they commute, this is identity. So it's a group commutator. We're considering the product of matrix multiplication, and the unit element for that, the identity element, is the, identity matrix. Okay? So it's again a measure of how far two operators are from commuting. But this is the one that we're going to use. And just at a very high level, the intuition for why might you think this would give you something like order delta squared instead of order delta? Well, it's because there's more terms here. There's we're going to have approximations like A hat plus delta A, and then we're going to have another A hat plus delta A. And so we're hoping that that this is going to give us the delta squared. We need to be careful about some things and make sure it all works out. But that's the intuition. So that's what's going on, the sort of key thing in the Solovay-Kitaev algorithm. The other important thing to note is that from this definition, so very importantly, we can recover the thing that we actually care about, which is the product A times B, from this group commutator. Right? This is what we care about, A times B. This is the quantum circuit that we want to compile. How would we do that? Well, it's easy to see from this definition. Hopefully you can see that if I just multiply on the right by B and then A, I'll recover the product A times B. So this is how we can recover the product, the quantum circuit that we care about, from this group commutator. So it's fine to think about these group commutators. Just keep this in mind. We can always recover the thing we actually care about by this simple multiplication.